Labour MP Zara Sultana has escalated her criticism of Nigel Farage, branding Reform UK as a far-right political party reminiscent of extremist groups like the British National Party, BNP, and the National Front. Her inflammatory remarks have ignited widespread backlash across the political spectrum, particularly as Reform UK gains momentum in the polls and gears up for a significant political rally in Birmingham ahead of the 2025 local elections. Sultana, who represents Coventry South, utilised social media to launch a pointed attack against Farage, beginning her post with a dismissive "No thanks, Nigel." She accused Reform UK of perpetuating a culture of hatred and division, claiming that the party's rhetoric concerning Muslims and migrants is alarmingly similar to that of extremist factions from Britain's historical past. Drawing from her personal background as a Brummie whose parents faced the violent repercussions of far-right ideologies, Sultana expressed a collective sentiment of rejection toward such politics within her proud multicultural city. In her lengthy statement, Sultana articulated that, based on Reform UK's public comments regarding Muslims and migrants, she believes the party is akin to the National Front and the BNP. She painted Reform UK as an elitist organisation, stating, "We have pushed back against them before, and we will do it again." Sultana emphasised that the party is financially supported by billionaires and led by individuals from privileged backgrounds. She criticised their leader for boasting about being the only politician in Britain preserving Thatcher's legacy, an ideology she argues has caused significant harm to post-industrial towns and pit villages across the Midlands, leaving generational scars. The Socialist MP, who lost the Labour whip last year after rebelling against the two-child benefit cap, further accused Reform UK of acting against the interests of ordinary people. She argued that their MPs consistently vote against workers' rights while catering to the elites who fund their activities. Sultana described their relentless scapegoating of Muslims and migrants as a cynical diversion from the real issues at hand, namely, the powerful individuals undermining diverse working-class communities. "We stand for solutions, not scapegoats," she declared, pledging that on March 28 they would make this message unequivocally clear. Sultana's remarks have been met with strong criticism from various quarters. Reform UK MPs have labelled her statements as disgraceful. Great Yarmouth MP Riat Lowe did not hold back, referring to her as a horrible woman and suggesting that the nature of her comments reflects poorly on her character. Reform UK Chairman Zed Youssef similarly condemned Sultana's statements, particularly given the credible threats Farage has faced, noting that such rhetoric is unacceptable, especially when directed at an MP requiring round-the-clock protection. The timing of Sultana's attack is particularly notable, coming just a day after she faced backlash for posting a cartoon depicting Farage clamped inside a stop sign, a move many viewed as inflammatory considering the political violence and threats he has endured in recent years. Despite these controversies, Reform UK continues to experience a surge in popularity, with its upcoming Birmingham rally on March 28 expected to draw thousands. This event will mark the official launch of the party's campaign for the local elections, where they hope to make substantial gains in both county and mayoral contests scheduled for May 1. Farage expressed optimism about his party's prospects, stating, "Reform has all the momentum in British politics, and we are only just getting started." He emphasised that May 1 will serve as a crucial test for the party, highlighting their innovative campaign strategies that he believes will resonate with voters. Recent polling data appears to validate Farage's confidence. According to the Nowcast Westminster poll aggregator, Reform UK has edged ahead of Labour, securing an average of 25.6% of the vote, just 0.1% higher than Keir Starmer's party. Meanwhile, the Conservative Party continues to struggle, dropping to 22.6%, a figure that could potentially see them reduced to as few as 116 seats in Parliament if replicated in the next election. Farage has previously dismissed comparisons between Reform UK and far-right groups, arguing that his leadership with UKIP was instrumental in dismantling support for extremist factions like the BNP in the late 2000s. "No one did more to beat the far right in this country than me," he asserted last summer, suggesting that without his presence, a more intelligent far-right leader could emerge. As tensions escalate in the lead-up to the local elections, the coming weeks are set to be pivotal for both Reform UK and its opponents. It remains uncertain whether Sultana's attacks will resonate with voters or inadvertently fuel further support for Farage's movement. In another significant development, Chancellor Rachel Reeves recently issued a correction after inaccurately claiming that wages had risen at their fastest rate since the Labour Party took office following last year's general election. The Treasury intervened to clarify that, when adjusted for inflation, wages are growing at their fastest rate in 3 years, not at record levels as initially suggested. In her original statement, Reeves had emphasized her commitment to increasing people's earnings, boasting that year-on-year wages after inflation were growing significantly. This correction comes amid growing scrutiny of the Chancellor's economic management, particularly following an unexpected rise in inflation to 3% in January. The timing is particularly challenging for Reeves, as she is already facing questions about her qualifications and claims regarding her previous experience at the Bank of England. She has since updated her LinkedIn profile to clarify her role in retail banking at Halifax, which merged with the Bank of Scotland. The scrutiny extends beyond Reeves, as Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds has also faced criticism for presenting himself as a solicitor despite never qualifying. These incidents have raised concerns about the integrity of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government. However, Starmer has remained firmly behind his Chancellor, insisting that Reeves is effectively addressing any issues that arise. Latest figures indicate that, despite the challenges, average weekly earnings adjusted for inflation have grown by 3.4% over the past year. While this reflects positive pay rises amid easing inflation, it still falls short of the pandemic-era peaks when real-term wage growth reached 6.9% in June 2021. The Chancellor's statement followed the release of January's inflation data, which showed a 10-month high of 3%, partly attributed to the introduction of VAT on private school fees. Lastly, King Charles demonstrated his commitment to supporting the Invictus Games during a recent visit to Imperial College London, where he engaged with former Army captain and Paralympic athlete David Henson. The 76-year-old monarch explored cutting-edge virtual reality technology aimed at aiding rehabilitation for limb loss. Henson, a British Paralympian who competed in the 2014 and 2016 Invictus Games, provided a demonstration of advancements in prosthetics during their conversation. The King praised Henson as an inspiring figure and emphasized the importance of the centre's work in developing prosthetic technology. The centre is collaborating with Ukraine's National Rehabilitation Centre, Unbroken, to enhance prosthetic limbs and rehabilitation efforts for military and civilian casualties. Dr. Nat Herc from Unbroken expressed gratitude to the UK for its steadfast support for Ukraine during a video call with the King, highlighting the centre's groundbreaking work in improving outcomes for injured individuals worldwide. What are your thoughts on the topics we've discussed in today's video? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. That brings us to the end of today's discussion. Please remember to like and subscribe for more engaging British content.